Right now, 1 year later, our nation's capital is bracing for a white nationalist rally and counter-protest, much like the events that turned violent last summer in Charlottesville. Plus, Move Out Monday, Hippie Christmas, whatever you call it, the UW campus is in for a busy week. How city crews are stepping up to help people moving in and moving out. And 1 month later, people living in Sun Prairie have one last chance to receive help from the town's Disaster Relief Fund.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is August 12th, 6:30 right now. I'm Josh Breder with meteorologist Chris Reese, and just a fantastic day yesterday. It looks like more of the same today.
Rinse and repeat. That's exactly what we're going to do. Another beautiful day on tap, a little hazy, but I saw a comment yesterday that made me laugh. Someone said, any day that it's not snowy or icy is a beautiful day. And I
like
thought,
that.
yeah, I guess you're right for the upper Midwest. So it's another beautiful day. A hazy sunrise once again coming into the picture out there. The temperature 65 degrees right now. Dew points into the 60s as well. So it's a little muggy, but really it's not that bad. It's nothing unbearable that we haven't seen so far this summer. 70 degrees over for our friends in Moreau. Same for La Crosse. You'll find most temperatures are in the 60s and 70s this morning. Camp Douglas is at 59 and Sheboygan at 56 as of now. But you see the dew points all in the 50s and low to mid 60s as well. That'll be the case as we go through the rest of the day. It's going to be very warm today, however. Temperatures will top out right around 88 degrees. Some folks will likely hit that 90-degree mark, but the humidity will not be as bad as it's been other times this summer. Plenty of sunshine to go along with today's forecast as well, just about all day long. Traffic-wise, here's a live look at East Wash and 2nd. That's moving along smoothly as well. Most of the Beltline moving well this morning, too. No major issues or delays showing up as of yet.
That's what we'd like to hear, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure, Josh.
New this morning, Washington, D.C. is bracing for a white nationalist rally. Law enforcement agencies will try to prevent it from turning violent like the one in Charlottesville, Virginia last year. This weekend marks the anniversary of the Charlottesville protests. Today, an estimated 400 demonstrators will gather at Lafayette Square, that's adjacent to the White House, for a Unite the Right to rally. More than 1,500 counter-protesters are expected to gather there as well. Last August, white supremacist demonstrators and counter-protesters squared off in violent clashes in Charlottesville. 32-year-old Heather Heyer was killed in that conflict. A man whose social media account showed his support of white supremacy drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. Meanwhile, the city of Charlottesville is under a state of emergency this weekend. The streets are closed to cars and all pedestrians are forced through just 2 security checkpoints. Police there fear a repeat of last year's protests and ensuing violence. The white nationalists who organized last year's rally is organizing the one happening today in D.C., touting, quote, white civil rights. The 5 counter-protest groups are planning a series of rallies called United to Love. We turn overseas now to some breaking news overnight. 10 people are in the hospital after a shooting in the United Kingdom early this morning. Police say it happened in the Moss Side area of Manchester around 2:30 this morning. Officers are currently in the area trying to establish exactly where the shooting took place and identify those involved. The town's Caribbean Carnival ended just a few hours before that incident. A detective on the case confirmed the people in the hospital are being treated for different injuries. Most do not appear to be life-threatening. Developing right now in Wisconsin, Governor Scott Walker's re-election campaign says a small northern Wisconsin school district was aware of a visit by the governor could lead to a campaign ad. The Three Lakes School District claimed staff members unknowingly showed up in a campaign ad for Walker. However, a Walker campaign spokesperson says the superintendent knew why the governor and film crew were there. They even had permission for him to allow footage to be used for broadcast purposes, but it doesn't specify campaign ads. The superintendent apologized for that ad. A Wisconsin woman has died from an infection. Doctors believe she got from her puppy licking her. At least it seemed like she had the flu at first, but within 2 days, the 58-year-old was dead. The bacteria she tested positive for is found in the saliva of most dogs, cats, and even some humans. It is rarely problematic and almost never deadly. But when people come in contact with it, it can have devastating consequences.
She could get struck by lightning 4 times and live, win the lottery twice, and that's how rare this is supposed to be.
The woman's family is looking for more answers since there is no real tracking of how many cases there have been. This isn't the first case of an infection by dog saliva this year in Wisconsin. Another man lost his hands and legs so that doctors could save his life. Right now, Madison police say they're investigating after a 16-year-old boy was dragged by a car. Police say the boy fell off the hood of the car on the 1500 block of Wright Street near Madison College around 4:30 Friday. A 40-year-old woman was driving the car at the time. Police say the two knew each other and were messing around. Officers say the teen suffered a deep cut to his leg and significant road rash. The driver was cited on suspicion of reckless driving and driving without a license. 6:36 is your time. Happening tomorrow, city crews will be back out across Madison for special daily pickups of refuse, recycling, and large items. This comes ahead of what's affectionately known as Hippie Christmas. This upcoming week is when many leases expire downtown, leading to a rush of people moving out of their old places and into new ones in the span of just a couple of days. Crews will be emptying refuse and recycling carts every day until Friday. If you're one of the people moving this week, you're asked to make sure all of your garbage and recycling are in the carts to keep neighborhoods clean. A first alert traffic note you should know about before heading to work on Monday. There's going to be a detour in place if you use Whalen Road on Fitchburg's southwest side starting tomorrow. Whalen will be closed between Fitchburg Road and Muchler Road through the end of the month for construction. And for everyone who drives on Verona Road, there will be single lane closures tomorrow, both north and southbound near Raymond Road. This comes as crews rebuild part of Raymond Road, forcing traffic on that street to shift tomorrow night as well. If the weather doesn't cooperate, these lane closures on Verona Road will take place Tuesday night. Well, if you couldn't tell from all of the political ads airing lately, this coming Tuesday is primary day in Wisconsin. We're just 2 days away from finding out who will be challenging Governor Scott Walker, Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish, and Senator Tammy Baldwin in November, as well as a number of other races, depending on where you live. You can find out what's on your ballot and your polling location at myvote.wi.gov. We also have all of that resources, interviews with candidates, and more on our politics page right now, channel3000.com. Thousands of competitive water skiers are in Janesville this weekend for the Show Ski National Championship. The 44th annual event is happening now at Traxler Park. Teams from across the nation will compete in individual and team events, which wrap up today. Janesville's own Rock Aqua Jays will perform around 8 o'clock this morning. The award ceremony is set for 5 this afternoon. We're told the championship is expected to bring in $2.5 million into the city this weekend. Starting tomorrow, you can expect to see and hear more military jets flying overhead. The Northern Lightning training exercises will be getting underway at Volk Field in Camp Douglas Monday morning. More than 1,000 members of the Air Force, National Guard, Marines, and Navy will be there learning how to work together in different drills. People across 21 counties can expect to see and hear jets in the air every day from 9:30 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Those exercises are scheduled to run for about 2 weeks. After nearly a year of discussions, we soon might know what people living around the old Oscar Mayer plant on the city's northeast side want to see done there. The Oscar Mayer Strategic Assessment Committee is meeting tomorrow for the first time since an open house earlier this month. They collected dozens of public comments from that meeting, with the majority of the people in the neighborhood saying they want to see the former Oscar Mayer site once again become the economic center of the north side. The committee hopes to finalize a redevelopment plan for the area in the coming months. But what happens to the site is ultimately in the hands of the private company that bought the plant. New this morning, applications for financial assistance after the explosion in Sun Prairie are open until the end of this week. A total of more than $400,000 from the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund is available for the people and businesses affected by last month's deadly blast. Friday is the deadline to apply. Those applications will be reviewed next week, with the funds being distributed by the end of the month. 6:40 is your time right now. Sunny skies are set to return this Sunday. Some good news for skiers, frisbee players, and other adventurers planning to spend some more time outside. Here's a live look outside to start you off. You can see that haze Chris was talking about out there. He's in next with your full first alert forecast. And later, get your stomachs ready. Round 2 of Restaurant Week starts today, this time spotlighting businesses owned by Black chefs. The impact Black Restaurant Week is expected to have on the local economy. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning to you. It is a warm and mild morning, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful morning out here. Blue skies. The temperature's already into the mid-60s so far. In fact, 65 degrees at the Madison airport. Most places will find their temperatures into the 60s, so a few upper 50s and low 70s do show up. Monroe at 71, La Crosse at 70. You get over to Camp Douglas, you're at 59, Sheboygan at 56. Elsewhere in between, you do find your temperature somewhere along the way of being into the 60s. Now going through today, it's going to be a very warm day. We'll see those temperatures top out right around 88 degrees this afternoon, and we don't have to really worry about the possibility of a shower or a thunderstorm. For the most part, we will be dry today with high pressure beginning to take over. In fact, there's no rain across the Midwest at all. You have to go all the way to the deep south or over towards the Appalachians or back north into Canada if you really want to see anything in the way of rainfall. It has been really dry with this dome of high pressure staying in control. It really has not moved all of much, and that stationary front across the deep south remains in place there, and that's not really allowing this dome of high pressure to go anywhere per se. So we're still dry here in Madison. On the west side of that, they are still very hot and hazy. In fact, yesterday, Glasgow, Montana made it to 107 degrees again for the third day in a row. They saw temperatures just that warm. We made it to 86 here in Madison. Today we'll be in the ballpark, likely seeing the upper 80s for those highs. I will say this tries to show the possibility of a lake breeze shower or a thunderstorm popping up. I'm not too sold on that chance here. I think that dome of high pressure should really be in control for our day. We'll start out in the 60s again for your Monday, even your Monday afternoon. Going to be another warm afternoon with temperatures well into the 80s. Our temperatures do cool down after today to about where they should be as we approach Thursday or so, but for the most part, as we go through the next 10 days, temperatures will be dominantly above average. 67 to 84 degrees this morning, sunshine, and of course very mild. By the afternoon, 88 degrees, winds coming out of the northeast at 6 to 12 miles per hour. A heat index possibly right around 90 degrees or so. The best rain chance comes in on Wednesday. We'll keep a close eye on that. That's with the cold front. Additional rain chances Friday and into next weekend. Josh.
Staying out of the 90s, though. I like that.
We are staying out of the 90s for the most part, yes.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Still to come, the longest-serving governor in Wisconsin history and former U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services is now going the extra mile, fighting to save others from a deadly cancer. This conversation with our Susan Simon is next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning. It's a beautiful and hazy Sunday out there. Temperatures already into the mid-60s this morning. In fact, we do sit at 65 here in Madison. as of now. But as we go through the rest of the morning, expect temperatures to reach the low and mid 80s by lunchtime, and then into the peak heating of the afternoon. We'll see those temperatures top out right around 88 degrees with heat indices around 90. Josh.
Thanks, Chris. Your time right now is 6:50 this morning. More than 55,000 Americans will be diagnosed this year with pancreatic cancer. Survival rates have not improved over decades of treatment and research. The symptoms are often vague and non-existent, but this has been a year of unforeseen breakthroughs in pancreatic cancer research. A new trial overseas was unveiled this past June at a national conference. UW oncologist Dr. Noelle Locante, who treats pancreas cancer patients, was there.
We showed that those patients on average lived 54 months. That's the longest survival we've ever demonstrated in pancreas cancer. I burst into tears during the presentation. And so to see such a dramatic improvement, I mean, we were previously telling people 2 years, maybe 3, and now we're beyond 4 years for these patients that can have surgery, which again is not the majority of patients, but that's a big win. I mean, that's like home run out of the park.
But why is it such a struggle to get needed research dollars for this particular cancer?
Because there's no advocates, because we don't have survivors. Patients are not living long enough to be their own advocate. They have a lot of other things to worry about other than fundraising for cancer research. And then the family.
But right now, the pancreatic cancer community does have a high-profile advocate. Four-term Wisconsin governor and former Health and Human Services Secretary Tommy Thompson. Thompson has a very personal connection, and he shared his story with Only News 3's Susan Simon.
Grab your coffee, let's head outside.
When former Governor Tommy Thompson wants to find peace, he goes home.
Oh my goodness, Governor, look at this view.
This was homesteaded by my great-grandfather in 1860.
He graciously invited me to his farm in Elroy, on the land that's been in his family for generations.
That over there is the homestead. See the blue silo?
Yes.
That's where my mother was born with her 9 brothers and sisters. My farm goes all the way around.
How does it feel to look out and see this view?
You know, it's me, it's my heritage, it's home.
At 76 and semi-retired from politics now, Thompson spends as much time as he can at his sanctuary in the country.
And then they're going to take the grapes, and I suppose they'll mix it with some others, but they'll call it the Governor's Reserve.
Also growing on this land and buried deep in the soil are memories, sometimes painful ones, of a younger brother whose life was cut short, a tree planted in honor of Eddie.
Do you feel him when you're out
yeah.
here? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel all
every
your
time,
siblings?
you know, it reminds me of him. So yeah. It's sort of bitter, you know, to know that I'm older and I'm here and he's not.
Yeah.
It's still hard to talk about the painful disease that took both of his brothers, but it's given Thompson a purpose.
It is such an insidious, dastardly disease, and nobody really has paid that much attention to it.
It is pancreatic cancer, the third leading cancer killer in Wisconsin, often undetectable and incurable.
There hasn't been the dollars, the research, and I guess it's because it's such a difficult disease that people can't find a cure for it, and so they'd rather not fail, so they go into some other cancer.
Thompson's younger brother, Eddie, the larger-than-life former mayor of Tomah and one-time Libertarian candidate for governor, was diagnosed in 2010 in the middle of a campaign for state senate.
It devastated us, and knowing this, he was sort of the comedian, sort of the glue that all of us loved to be around because he enjoyed life so much. And then to have this powerful man that was so strong come down with an illness that he couldn't defeat. And he thought he could beat it. He thought he would be the first one to beat it.
Less than 2 years later, Thompson's brother Artie faced the same devastating diagnosis.
Artie didn't fight it as hard as Eddie, and Artie went a lot faster. I think Artie died within 8 months after the diagnosis. And then on top of it, my farming partner, Irwin Schultz, who grew up with me, he died of pancreatic cancer, all in the same time period.
You sadly have too much experience with cancer.
We got a big C. Everyone, my wife has had cancer, breast cancer, started the Women's Health Foundation. My daughter Kelly's had breast cancer and had her breast removed. Tommy has had breast cancer and thyroid cancer.
So far, Tommy himself and his sister Julianne are cancer-free. But that doesn't diminish the pain of losing his brothers, nor his determination to fulfill a promise.
My brother Eddie, he said, for God's sakes, Tommy, do whatever you can. Find a cure for this disease. That he grabbed him by the hand, and he had giant hands, bigger than mine, and he grabbed me and he says, find a cure for this. He said, it's not going to help me, but find it for other people. And so, I will.
You can help the Thompson family support pancreatic cancer research today. Check out the roll and stroll for pancreas cancer this morning at Capitol Brewery in Middleton. There's a 10 or 50K bike ride or a 2-mile stroll starting at 9:30 this morning. The event is dedicated to former UW hockey coach Jeff Sauer, who died from pancreatic cancer. For more information, visit uwhealth.org/roll-and-stroll. Still ahead on News 3 this morning, Sunday, a check of today's top stories, including what you should know before heading to the polls this Tuesday. We'll be right back. Just 1 month after the deadly Sun Prairie explosion, a city alder is looking for change. How it could help something like that from happening again.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is just about 7 o'clock on this Sunday, August 12th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris will have your forecast in a moment, but first, a look at your top stories this morning. Right now, Washington, D.C. is bracing for a white nationalist rally. Law enforcement agencies will try to prevent the rally from turning violent like the one in Charlottesville, Virginia last year. This weekend marks the one-year anniversary of the violent and deadly Charlottesville protests. Today, an estimated 400 demonstrators will gather at Lafayette Square adjacent to the White House for a Unite the Right to rally. More than 1,500 counter-protesters are expected to gather there as well. Last August, protests in Charlottesville led to the death of a 32-year-old woman. We're just 2 days away from finding out who will be challenging Governor Scott Walker, Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish, and Senator Tammy Baldwin in November, as well as a number of other races depending on where you live. This coming Tuesday is primary day in Wisconsin. The polls will open at 7 in the morning. You can find out what's on your ballot and your polling location by visiting myvote.wi.gov. We also have a list of those resources, interviews with candidates, and more on our politics page right now, channel3000.com. City of Madison crews will be back out tomorrow for special daily pickups of refuse, recycling, and large items ahead of what's affectionately known as Hippie Christmas. This upcoming week is when many leases expire downtown, leading to a rush of people moving out of their old places and into new ones in the span of just a couple of days. Crews will be emptying refuse and recycling carts every day until Friday. If you're one of the people moving this week, you're asked to make sure all of your garbage and recycling are in the carts to help keep those neighborhoods clean. Thousands of competitive water skiers are in Janesville this weekend for the Show Ski National Championship. It's the 44th annual event happening now at Traxler Park. Teams from across the nation will compete in individual and team events, which do wrap up today. Janesville's own Rock Aqua Jays will perform around 8 o'clock this morning. It's around an hour from now. The awards ceremony is set for 5 later today. The championship is expected to bring in $2.5 million to the city this weekend. And Chris, looks like a great morning for some water skiing out there.
It is a great morning. Lots of sunshine out there already, though a little bit hazy on the horizon, but still it's a beautiful Sunday. It's one of those days that Sunday will live up to its name. The temperatures are taking off early already at 68. Winds are calm, so it's not like there's a large major breeze out there. 71 for our friends in Monroe, and then of course Janesville at 64 degrees this morning. But you see a lot of those temperatures that are into the 50s and 60s. Dew points are also into the 60s, and at this point it's starting to get noticeably humid. There'll be a little extra sweat outside, or your hair may begin to frizz up, but like I mentioned, it's nothing that we have not seen already this summer. It's going to be a pretty toasty afternoon. We'll see those temperatures top out into the upper 80s, likely topping out right around 88 degrees for your high today. Plenty of sunshine, though, to go along with that. So if you have the chance to do something such as water skiing, today is actually quite a great day for it. Here's a live look downtown. This is East Wash at 2nd Street. So far, no major traffic issues showing up across the city of Madison this morning. Dane County as a whole looks fantastic. Maybe you're driving down to Janesville or you're in Janesville heading up to Madison. So far, everything's going to take you about your normal speed today.
All right, Chris, thank you. Time right now is 7:03 this morning. It's been a little more than a month since a deadly explosion rocked downtown Sun Prairie. And now city alders are pressing for change. News 3's Adam Duxter tells us how they're working to pass an ordinance to prevent something like this from happening again.
As the city of Sun Prairie continues to rebuild, city leaders are addressing digging policies they feel could make the area safer.
Last month it's been very trying. This is my district, this is my city, and this is where a major accident happened where we lost a life.
It's been just over a month since a gas leak caused a major explosion in downtown Sun Prairie, killing volunteer fire captain and business owner Corey Barr. Now, city leaders like Steve Stocker are renewing city ordinance regarding digging regulations, taking extra precautions to make sure an explosion does not happen again. One change Stocker says he would like to see is that companies digging are from the state.
I wanted to see in there was on the permit, is the company licensed in the state of Wisconsin? And if it is, then we have that assurance that they've gone through the proper channels.
Saturday, August 11th is National 811 Day, a reminder to call before digging. Safety officials say calling 811 before digging can make all the difference.
If people just paid more attention to 811, we could probably avoid a lot of the costs and perhaps the fatalities.
And for the city of Sun Prairie, reviewing city ordinance is about making sure people feel as safe as possible.
And we wanted to review that and make sure that we can assure the citizens that any underground digging, anything that happens within the right-of-way, they're protected.
Stocker told me he believes that accidents will always happen, but hopes the potential changes the city makes will make it nearly impossible for another explosion to happen. He says he believes changes will be finalized sometime soon.
Adam Duxter reporting. Adam, thank you. There's some good news ahead of the back-to-school rush in Madison. A local organization is making sure all kids are ready for the new school year. 100 Black Men of Madison is helping families take on the burden of paying for school supplies. The group hosted a back-to-school event Saturday, handing out free backpacks and supplies to eager grade schoolers and their families. Kids could also pick up new books, and parents could get help registering for school. Volunteers say the joy the kids experience when they pick up a new backpack is contagious.
The kids are very pleased because they're wearing this backpack on their shoulder and it's brand new. They just love this sort of thing, and it's sort of a give and take. The more energy they give to us, the more we give back to them, and everybody walks out here on cloud nine.
For a second year, the event was held on the Madison College campus. Organizers say that location allows them to help even more people. Coming up on 7:07 this Sunday morning, we're gearing up for round 2 of Restaurant Week. Starting today, local establishments owned by Black business owners will offer deals around town. And this year's Black Restaurant Week is bigger and better than ever before. Next, we're joined in studio by one of the women in charge of putting on the annual event. Keep watching News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning to all of you. It's another beautiful day out here. Temperatures are on the mild side, though, already starting things out very well into the 60s, 68 degrees, or think of it as this, 2 degrees away from 70 at about 7:15 this morning. We have made it to 70 in Monroe. The temperature there actually 71 degrees. Same for our friends over in La Crosse, 64 in Janesville. You see a lot of temperatures already into the 60s. We're going to keep warming things up today. Today likely going to be a pretty warm day. We'll reach the 80s by lunchtime, topping out right around 88 degrees as we get you into the afternoon. No real needs to worry about showers or thunderstorms today. It's always possible, but today it's highly unlikely that we truly see a shower or thunderstorm. In fact, the entire upper Midwest is mainly dry. If you are looking for rain, you really want to travel all the way down to the deep south, right around the Tennessee Valley or far north into Canada. But that high pressure that's been in control of our weather for the past several days, well, it is staying in control of our weather and keeping things very much on the dry side. Out west, man, they are staying hot and hazy. I want to show you the highs yesterday. Again, Glasgow, Montana made it to 107 for the third day in a row, seeing 107 degrees. Triple-digit heat in North Dakota as well. In Madison yesterday, we made it up to 86 degrees. Today, we will likely see a very similar story in terms of just how warm we get. We'll reach the 80s, like I said, by lunchtime, and then 88 degrees, again, likely the high this afternoon. What Future Track is picking up on is a possibility of a lake breeze shower or thunderstorm. The thing is, with this dry dome of high pressure that's pretty hot and sinking, it's pretty unlikely to truly get a rain chance. But nonetheless, Future Track trying to show something there. I think we're going to keep the forecast mainly dry, not just today, but going into your Monday as well. Starting out in the 60s and again topping out into the middle and upper 80s for those highs as we get you into Monday. Now, temperatures have been above average for a while, and they're staying above average for the most part. Though we do have a couple days in our forecast which are about where they should be for this time of the year, but largely above average is the name of the game, and it will continue to be the name of the game for a few weeks here. 67 to 84 as we go through the morning. 88 again this afternoon. Those heat indices making it potentially into the low 90s, although it won't be as humid as it could be. We'll see better rain chances coming in Tuesday night into Wednesday. Additional rain chances as we approach next weekend. Josh?
Loving all that sunshine, Chris.
As we should be. It's a beautiful, beautiful forecast that we do have.
All right, thanks so much.
Anytime.
Well, we have been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this photo. Dan Fearing posted this on our Facebook page. This is Prairie du Sac, and that's the dam on a Sunday morning. Check out that sunrise. That is just beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Dan. What does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page, or you can also find us on Instagram or Twitter and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share all of our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. Well, if you watched the Nathan's hot dog eating contest over the 4th of July, check this out. You'll know all about Joey Chestnut, the hot dog eating world champ. He was among the contestants this weekend at the first ever cheese curd eating contest at the Wisconsin State Fair. Oh my gosh, look at that. Contestants had 6 minutes to chow down on as many curds as possible, eating for the prize of $4,000. In the end, Chestnut came up short, though, topped by the winner, Darren Breeden. Breeden set the world record, eating 5 pounds, 2 ounces of curds, again, in just 6 minutes. Wow. All right, well, Summer Restaurant Week drew large crowds to local restaurants last month, and starting today, there are more deals in store for hungry Wisconsinites. 10 restaurants and a handful of food trucks will be available this week. Catering companies and dessert shops are ready for the start of Black Restaurant Week, which kicks off today. We're joined this morning by Camille Carter, president of the Black Chamber of Commerce and spokeswoman for the week. Good morning, Camille. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having us.
So you guys have been very busy and a lot of excitement ahead for this week.
Yes, we have. We are entering into our 3rd year of Black Restaurant Week, which is a week-long of activities between over 24 Madison area restaurants, food carts, and caterers. The Black Restaurant Week is sponsored by the Madison Black Chamber of Commerce, and we're really excited this year to sponsor the event again.
So year 3, you guys have been working hard.
Yes.
What's going to be kind of different this year people can check out?
Yeah, this year we are offering and partnering with Foodoo Works, which is an app that is designed here in Madison, Wisconsin, that delivers directly to the workplace. So a great deal of our restaurants are partnering, and we'll have delivery service available during the mid-afternoons.
So pretty cool. Obviously, you know, Madison, we're known for all of our restaurants,
Yes, we
right?
are.
And I'm
Yes,
guessing
we are.
that's probably one of the reasons you guys wanted to get involved with this.
We are a foodie town. And Madison is really unique. When you look at a city our size, we really have a very rich offering of restaurants and food carts. So we're really proud of that as the Madison Black Chamber and want to highlight that. You know, restaurants are a really great area to have true economic impact. And so this week will allow the Madison community to experience that. And so we're grateful.
So if people are interested in checking out your restaurants this week, what do they need to know? What do they need to kind of do ahead of time?
They certainly, ahead of time, one, they need to bring their appetite.
Well, that's a given, right?
That is a given. And then certainly we'll have all of the activities on our website and Facebook page, MadisonBlackChamber.com. And we really want, it doesn't cost you anything to participate. We just really want you to go out and experience our restaurants and call upon them for catering events and just try out their food. There's some very great cuisine that's being offered.
That's awesome. Yeah, be sure to bring those appetites, right?
That's the most important thing.
That's the best time. All right, well, Camille, thanks for joining us, and good luck with everything this week.
Thank you so much.
And there's all the info on your screen right now. You can check out Black Restaurant Week and support local business owners now through next Sunday, August 19th. Well, there's a new health alert out this morning for teenagers exposed to secondhand smoke. And the new school year is right around the corner. For many kids, that means a trip to the doctor for some mandatory vaccinations. But not everyone is following the rules. The weekend's top health stories are next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning to all of you. We continue to see sunshine and haze out there. We'll see a whole lot more of that sunshine as we go through the day. 68 degrees if you were just waking up and getting ready to head out the door. A little humid as well with dew points into the mid and upper 60s. We'll watch our temperatures rise towards the 80s by lunchtime, topping out this afternoon right around 88 degrees. Josh.
Thanks, Chris. There's a new health alert from health officials this morning. Teenagers exposed to tobacco smoke are at a higher risk of developing respiratory issues. This is according to a new study from Pediatrics. The new information of more than 7,000 adolescents who don't smoke shows those exposed to smoke at home or for an hour or more within the past week reported more shortness of breath and a dry cough at night. They also had more visits to the ER or urgent care. Babies born to women infected by the Zika virus during pregnancy should be carefully monitored after birth. That's according to data from the CDC that found about 1 in 7 of them experienced health problems, possibly caused by exposure to the mosquito-borne virus as children. Researchers say even if the babies look healthy at birth, they are more likely to experience developmental problems like seizures, hearing loss, impaired vision, or difficulty crawling. Summer is almost over and families are preparing for the start of school. For some children, that means mandatory vaccinations, but not everyone wants to follow the school's rules. Diedrich Russell has that story.
There are mixed feelings out there about whether or not to get kids vaccinated.
There's research out there that suggests there could be some negative consequences.
Kenny Smith has 3 small kids in CMS. His family did research about the vaccinations. In the end, they followed the doctor's advice and got the kids vaccinated.
They believe that it is in the best interest of your child. And then second, you're putting other children at risk.
CMS agrees. It believes vaccinations and learning go hand in hand.
That's really our goal, is to keep those kids in the seats, ready to learn, healthy, and safe.
North Carolina leaves it up to the parents to decide on vaccinations. Moms and dads can opt out for medical or religious reasons. CMS says nearly 2% of kindergartners didn't get vaccinations last year for religious reasons. In Mecklenburg County, out of the more than 13,000 kindergartners enrolled in either a charter, private, or public school, nearly 1% had no shots because of medical reasons, 1.9% not vaccinated because of religious reasons, and more than 7% of those students still hadn't gotten their vaccinations 30 days into the school year. CMS says there could be a disruption in education for non-vaccinated students.
If something happened and there was an outbreak of one of those illnesses, that in that case, those students would be required to be out of school because we wouldn't want them to be exposed.
CMS says for those parents who are getting their kids vaccinated, do it now while clinics aren't busy.
Wait to the last minute and then it gets crazy, you can't get in.
Still ahead this morning, we'll have what's making headlines right now. Also, why you'll probably see more stuff piling up on the curbs around town this weekend. And forget the station wagon, forget the minivan. The new family haulers are 3-row mid-sized SUVs. We'll check out the Kia version of this, the Sorento, when we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs. That's when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. 1 year later, the city of Charlottesville has declared a state of emergency, and the nation's capital is bracing for a day of protests and counter-protests, all on the anniversary of last year's deadly clashes.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is just about 7:30 on this August 12th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris has your warm Sunday forecast in a moment, but first here's what's making headlines right now. 1 month after the Sun Prairie explosion, city alders are looking at ordinances regarding digging to make sure an explosion doesn't happen again. One major change Alderman Steve Stalker would like to see that companies digging in Sun Prairie are from the state. He says the last month has been very trying for people living in the city he represents. He also wants to make sure everyone feels as safe as possible. Applications for financial assistance after the explosion in Sun Prairie are open until the end of this week. A total of more than $400,000 from the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund is available for the people and businesses affected by last month's deadly blast. Friday is the deadline to apply. Those applications will be reviewed next week, with the funds being distributed by the end of the month. Normal recycling in Madison is taking a 2-day break ahead of the madness of downtown move-out days this week. City crews had been making special daily pickups of garbage, recycling, and large items, but they've temporarily stopped for the weekend. They'll start again tomorrow and will be emptying refuse and recycling carts every day until next Friday. If you're one of the people moving out over the next week, you're asked to make sure all of your garbage and recycling are in the carts to help keep neighborhoods clean. Starting tomorrow, we'll expect to see and hear more military jets flying overhead. The Northern Lightning training exercises are getting underway at Volk Field in Camp Douglas Monday morning. More than 1,000 members of the Air Force, National Guard, Marines, and Navy will be there learning how to work together in different drills. People across 21 counties can expect to see and hear jets in the air every day from 9:30 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Those exercises are scheduled to run for about 2 weeks. Now we'll send it over to Chris with a spectacular Sunday forecast. Hey, Chris.
Good morning. Spectacular Sunday. How about that for some alliteration? But we've got a lot of sunshine going on out there. We're going to keep that sunshine around as we go through the rest of today as well. 68 degrees the temperature right now. A little humid, though. Dew points are well into the 60s, in fact, approaching upper 60s in some cases. 64 for our friends down in Janesville, Watertown at 65, Monroe at 72. And those 70s will become more common as we go through the next hour or so. And dew points, like I mentioned, are all into the mid and upper 60s for a lot of us. La Crosse, it's downright humid in La Crosse with that dew point into the low 70s. But we'll top out around 88 degrees this afternoon. Otherwise, seeing temperatures well into the mid 80s for a large part of the day and especially into the evening. But like I mentioned, plenty of sunshine to go along with that, so we really shouldn't have to worry about anything in the way of showers or thunderstorms. Traffic does continue to run smoothly this morning. No incidents or delays have been reported as of yet. The Beltline running smooth, downtown running smooth as well as all of Dane County. All routes are running their usual speeds with no crashes or delays. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:31 is your time right now. New this morning, Washington, D.C. is bracing for a white nationalist rally. Law enforcement agencies will try to prevent the rally from turning violent like the one in Charlottesville, Virginia last year. This weekend actually marks the anniversary of the Charlottesville protests. Today, an estimated 400 demonstrators will gather at Lafayette Square adjacent to the White House for a Unite the Right to rally. More than 1,500 counter-protesters are expected to gather there as well. Last August, white supremacist demonstrators and counter-protesters squared off in violent clashes in Charlottesville. A 32-year-old woman was killed in that conflict when a man whose social media account showed his support of white supremacy drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. Meanwhile, the city of Charlottesville is under a state of emergency this weekend. The streets are closed to cars and all pedestrians are forced through just 2 security checkpoints. Police there fear a repeat of last year's protests and ensuing violence. The white nationalist who organized last year's rally is organizing the one happening today in D.C., touting, quote, white civil rights. The 5 counter-protest groups are planning a series of rallies called United to Love. We turn overseas now, where we're tracking some breaking news from overnight. 10 people are in the hospital after a shooting in the United Kingdom early this morning. Police say it happened in the Moss Side area of Manchester around 2:30 this morning. Officers are currently in the area trying to establish exactly where the shooting took place and identify those involved. The town's Caribbean Carnival ended a few hours before the incident. A detective on the case confirmed the people in the hospital are being treated for different injuries. Most do not appear to be life-threatening. Back here at home, we have 2 first alert traffic notes to pass along before the start of a new work week. There's going to be a detour in place if you use Wayland Road on Fitchburg's southwest side starting tomorrow. Wayland will be closed between Fitchburg Road and Muchler Road through the end of the month for construction. And for everyone who drives along Verona Road, there will be single lane closures tomorrow, both north and southbound near Raymond Road. This comes as crews rebuild part of Raymond Road, forcing traffic on that street to shift tomorrow night as well. If the weather doesn't cooperate, we're told these lane closures on Verona Road will take place Tuesday night. Sorrento is a small town in northern Italy which was heavily influenced by Greek culture. It got its name because it was inhabited by the cult of the Sirens. The town of Sorrento likely got its name from that, but how this name applies to a Kia Sorrento SUV, we have no idea. That being said, Mark Kane goes behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the 2019 Kia Sorrento.
Well, here we are at the park.
Yes, a great day at the park, and we're here with a really good family vehicle, the 2019 Kia Sorrento.
3 rows of seating.
3-row crossover, 7 passengers, probably really more like 5 passengers and the dog.
And getting to that 3rd row in the back may be a breeze for kids, but...
So you can climb through this way. But still, that's going to be a tough crawl.
If I climb back there, Harvey, I'm not getting out. But for many families, this new breed of vehicle is perfect.
These 3-row crossovers have become the American family vehicle.
And Kia is not alone in this segment, not by any means.
There are 10 3rd-row mid-size crossovers. I went through, Toyota has one, Ford has one, Chevy has one, Dodge has one, you name it. Everybody's got one of these, and they're all pretty much the same price.
The Kia Sorrento starts at around $27,000 for a front driver with a 4-cylinder engine, and they go up from there, way up. Our SXL test car is about $48,000.
This Kia starts maybe a little lower, but when you get up to the top end, like this one's outfitted, they're all right in that $50,000 range.
So this is not overpriced?
No, it really isn't. And it was kind of funny. I took some pictures of it and posted it on my Facebook page when I first got it. And people are like, $50,000 for a Kia? You got to be kidding me. Well, you know what? You get in this car, and it has everything in here. You have the full navigation, the high-end Harman Kardon audio.
Heated and cooled leather seats, heated steering wheel, high-end trim all around, every safety feature available on a modern car, plus a potent 6-cylinder engine.
Quiet, smooth, comfortable, reliable. All these things that we never would have said about a Kia 10 years ago. They don't need to make apologies for this car at the high end anymore. They really don't. It's a well-made car. It's the #1 car in its segment in the J.D. Power Initial Quality survey.
So how does Kia get beyond this brand problem?
They build cars like the Stinger. They load this thing up and get people to drive it and realize, whoa, wait a minute, this is as nice as a fully equipped Highlander.
Even at the lower trim levels, the Kia holds its own with the other 9 vehicles on the market. And one of the best things about the Sorrento, and it's not a minivan.
No, it's not a minivan. So, guys, ladies, it's not a minivan. You don't have to worry about having that stink on you.
After nearly a year of discussions, we soon might know what people living around the old Oscar Mayer plant in the city's northeast side want to see done there. The Oscar Mayer Strategic Assessment Committee is meeting tomorrow for the first time since an open house earlier this month. They collected dozens of public comments from that meeting, with the majority of the people in the neighborhood saying they want to see the former Oscar Mayer site once again become the economic center of the north side. The committee hopes to finalize a redevelopment plan for the area in the coming months. But what happens to the site is ultimately in the hands of the private company that bought the plant. 7:37 right now, looking forward, bringing together some of the brightest minds in innovative technology. The annual Forward Festival returns to Madison this week. What's new this year and the impact events like this have on the city? We're joined in studio by one of the fest's organizers next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
The sun is up and continues to rise for a beautiful Sunday that we have out there. It is warm already, 68 degrees right now. We're going to watch those temperatures make it all the way into the 80s as we get you into lunchtime. By the afternoon, it is the upper 80s. We are talking temperatures close to 90, if not reaching 90 for a few select folks out there. With the humidity factored in, it'll likely feel like around 90 to the low 90s today. Josh.
Thanks, Chris. Time right now is 7:41. Entrepreneurs of all backgrounds will be collaborating and sharing advice during the 9th annual Forward Festival, which features more than 50 events, 30 of which are new. The fest starts this Thursday and runs through the weekend. And we're joined this morning by Laura Strong, a representative for Forward Festival. Laura, good morning to you.
Good morning, Josh.
So a lot of excitement coming into this week. What are you guys kind of looking forward to right now?
Absolutely. Well, this is kind of our favorite time of year. This festival is for entrepreneurs and by entrepreneurs. So those of us organizing the festival overall and those doing the different 52 events, we're all working up to this a really exciting time of the year where we get to bring everybody together, learn about what's new in the community and across the world in terms of entrepreneurship and technology and other areas.
So if people are kind of sparked in interest, what can they kind of expect if they come out this weekend?
Sure. Well, there are a number of different events. So the festival runs from the 16th to the 23rd. So as you mentioned, Thursday. Saturday, and 52 events across the entire 8 days worth of the festival. So you can come and see pitch events, so things like the pressure chamber that's put on by the Greater Madison Chamber of Commerce. We've got the Startup Showcase, another really fun pitch event on Tuesday evening next week. We've got a number of different events. There's a fundraiser for the Wisconsin Science Museum. It's going to be at one of the local breweries. So just a wide variety of events for the community. And again, they're either free or low cost and available to everybody.
So you mentioned community. You know, why is this important to have here in Madison? What's kind of the impact being left?
So it's interesting, when people talk about entrepreneurship, I think there's a sense of these small companies, but what you have to remember is that these small companies eventually turn into these larger companies, like your Exact Sciences, like your Promegas, and this is kind of the lifeblood of having a good, solid community with great jobs and things for all of our citizens to do.
Very cool. So if people are interested, what do they need to know? It sounds like it's pretty easy. You just kind of got to show up, right?
It's really easy. Go to forwardfest.org. Check out our calendar. It's tagged with different features of interest, so biotech or technology, community, social good. Find your events, figure out where they are, and make your calendar.
It's one of those things that sounds like there's a little bit of everyone, or a little bit for everyone, I should say.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining. We're going to get that information up on the screen right there. Again, the annual Forward Fest returns to Madison this Thursday, August 16th. It runs for 1 week, ending on the 23rd. And this year there are more than 50 events, 30 of which are new. There's more sunshine ahead for your Sunday. Some good news for those wanting to get outside. Here's a live look outside right now. Kind of a hazy start out there on the Sunday from that smoke coming down from Canada on those wildfires. Chris will have your work week forecast when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. But first, let's check out all of the kiddos turning 3 years old today. Happy birthday. We'll be right back.
Happy Sunday. No matter what your plans are, it's going to be a beautiful day to do so. If you're getting ready to head out the door right now, already we do have temperatures that are into the upper 60s and approaching 70. Some of our friends have already made it into the 70s this morning. Those dew points are into the mid and upper 60s, so it's already going to feel quite humid for those of us stepping outside. Let's go ahead and show you how things are shaping up across south central Wisconsin. All of us have temperatures that are mainly in the 60s, some low 70s. Do show up. Monroe, one of those warm spots at 73 down there in Greene County as of now, 68 for us here in Madison. La Crosse also at 71, but Wautoma only at 63. So it's a wide temperature spread, but they'll all even out into the afternoon. We'll see our temperatures warming over the next 12 hours, likely topping out right around 88 degrees. That's going to be at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Really that peak heating of the daytime of the year. No real need to worry about any showers or thunderstorms. Some of the models showing some lake freeze thunderstorms trying to get popping later on. I'll show you that here in a moment, but even still, I'm not too sold on that threat. As of now, high-resolution Doppler completely clear. We're clear across pretty much all of the upper Midwest. The only rain across the deep south and over Canada as of now. That region of high pressure we've been talking about for a while, staying in control. That's what's working to keep everyone mainly on the dry side as of now. South and southwesterly winds kicking up on the western side of that, keeping the northern plains just hot as can be. They are really baking. For the third day in a row, Glasgow reached 107 degrees, 100 in Bismarck yesterday. Yesterday, we made it to a high of 86 here in Madison. We'll see temperatures right around then, if not a couple degrees better going into today. We'll see temperatures in the 80s by lunchtime. See those specks of green? That's what I was talking about with future tracks showing that potential of a lake breeze-induced shower or thunderstorm. But this dome of high pressure is really going to help keep that from truly happening. But nonetheless, it's possible. For the most part, we are all dry, topping out right around 88 into the afternoon. We'll do it again tomorrow, starting out in the 60s for your Monday into Monday afternoon. Temperatures will top out into the mid and upper 80s once again. The average high for this time of the year is right around 80. We're keeping those temperatures well above average for the next several days. 88 again today, very warm. Those heat indices could likely make it into the low 90s. 87 for your Monday. The next best rain chance comes into the picture as we get you Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's actually a cold front. It's going to help keep temperatures at bay to where they should be for this time of the year into Thursday. Additional rain chances as we go towards next weekend. Bella.
Look at
Cottage
those
Grove.
eyes.
Those eyes get me. And, you know, if you're going to be walking your cat, as crazy as that may sound, but then again, those eyes keeping things crazy this morning will keep temperatures right around the mid-80s at 3 o'clock.
I've seen people walking their cat before. It's not uncommon.
It's not, and it throws me for a loop every time. I could never get my cat to do that.
A little leash. There you go. All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, UW La Crosse is the latest school to ban plastic straws on its campus. The university announced the change to reusable straws at dining locations in a letter to staff. Officials say they'll likely promote the movement by handing out free reusable straws this fall. They note there will be plastic straws available on request for those who need them. Students still need to vote on a referendum to completely ban straws from campus. Time now is 7:51. Stay with News 3 and Channel 3000 today. On our news at 5:30 and 10, sweating for Sun Prairie. The community coming together to burn some calories and make a big difference in the lives of people still reeling from last month's deadly explosion. But first, on News 3 this morning, Sunday, stolen by an unsuspecting thief. After a man's wallet goes missing at the beach, he turns his eyes to the sky to track down the culprit. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Welcome back at 7:54 this morning. It seems like the premise of a children's book. A family is enjoying a fun day at the beach until an unsuspecting thief swoops in. And artist Rodriguez has more from Massachusetts.
Everyone's got a fish story.
My name is Aaron Wiener.
But for this Beverly man, it was a seagull.
We were enjoying a nice night at the beach. Had been there for like an hour.
His story starts last Friday night while he and his family were swimming at Singing Beach in Manchester by the Sea.
All of a sudden, a guy came running up saying that a bird had stolen my wallet, and I thought he was like a lunatic.
Wiener says the bird did fish his money clip out of his beach bag and got away with $200, his credit cards, and his license. Hoping it had dropped it somewhere, he and his wife went looking for it by a seawall.
Searched through there for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but we were like right on the cusp of the sun being down completely, so we folded pretty quickly. And then on the way home called the police. They were like also in disbelief that a seagull had taken my wallet.
Scott Santino works at Mass Autobahn and says it is possible.
Those coastal habitats are where these seagulls not only forage for food, but on offshore islands is where they have their nesting colonies. And
he says the gull probably thought the clip was a crab.
Oftentimes shiny things, you know, whether it be a crab or a mussel, maybe like a money clip, you know, might be more attractive to a gull.
Santino says it's best to keep your belongings out of sight while swimming, which is what Wiener did when he returned to the beach 2 days later.
Yeah, we were there on Sunday, and I put my things in the same pocket, but I zipped it up this time.
He never found his wallet, but did report it to police. At last check, the bold bird is still at large. Reporting in Beverly tonight, I'm Anaritis Rodriguez, WBZ News.
Oh, I love that. Hey, it doesn't surprise me. Those things can come in real fast and sneak up on you.
You know, that makes me think of Finding Nemo. Was it mine? I feel like it just mine and flew away and took the wallet. But that's quite a story there.
Hey, if people are on the lake, watch out for those seagulls today.
You know, you never know. Hey, it's a good day for the lake, though. It's going to be very warm. Temperatures staying above average for the next several days. We do have a potential below average day as we get you towards Thursday, but really, we're warmer than we should be for this time of the year. 67 to 84 as we go towards lunchtime. This afternoon, temperatures topping out right around 88 degrees. You factor in the humidity, and we could see those heat indices into the low 90s later on today.
Washed the car yesterday. Looks like it's going to stay clean for a few days. All right. Thanks for joining us. There's Barrett the polar bear. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.